You'll notice I rolled it outside. It's very nice out here this morning, but I wanted to kind of give you a general overview of just how the FlowPro system works on its own. So let's jump into this. As I talked about earlier, there is the FlowPro control box down there. So this is for downstreaming. This allows you to spray soap by using the pressure washer, obviously not with high pressure tips. You're going to have to use a low pressure tip to be able to pull this off. So you'll notice right here, I'm going to try to do this one-handed. So this is one of those quick connects. So again, you can run your pressure washer through the reel, but when you're downstreaming, you're going to connect this into the back of the FlowPro system here. Again, try to do this one-handed, pardon the camera angles. So there we go, we're connected into the back of the FlowPro. So when you're downstreaming with this type of configuration, you want to pull your hose off as much as you need. So you can pull the first 100 off and connect it. There's quick connects on the ends of this hose. So again, you could pull 100 feet off or 200 feet off, however much you need. That'll easily disconnect from the hose reel with those quick connects and connect to this male fitting here. So let's talk about the orientation and kind of the settings on this FlowPro system. So you see that red line right there. That means that the water is flowing straight across and not going through the loop that's up here. So when it's flowing straight across, it's just water. It's going to come out here. Water will find the path of least resistance as far as how these systems work. Let me get you a better angle so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here on this FlowPro bypass loop here. So there's the back of it. So again, when that red line is in line with the way that the water's flowing, it's not going up through the loop. It's just going to be water. All right, let's go down here and grab the remote. So on this FlowPro box, the on and off switch is right here. I'll show you down there. So pulled towards you is on. Got the remote right here. All right, let's go on back up to the top here. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the soap on. So I'm gonna go to my remote, hit mix. I'll give you another little tip here. This takes about 10 seconds for this thing to completely switch over. So I advise guys not to hit the trigger and be pulling the trigger gun. That's gonna put a lot more force into this mechanism while this thing is trying to turn. So let's go ahead and hit that, and you'll see in real time about how long it takes. You can see that line turning. So think of this kind of as a roadblock. Now it's blocking the flow from coming straight across like it was on the rinse cycle, and it's pushing it up. So as pressure's coming in, give you a look at the back here, it's pushing up and it's coming across that downstream injector, and with the right low pressure nozzle, that's going to create a vacuum effect, and it's going to pull soap in from the bleach tank. When I say soap, I'm referring to putting a little soap, as long as your soap is bleach stable, into your bleach tank, and that's going to give you the downstream mix. Let's get back into this. So the pressure is going to be coming in through there. That black box created a block, so that's going to force the water up and across that injector and all the way up through the loop, and then obviously out the front. So that's kind of how the FlowPro works. Let me show you down here. This is flashing. So flashing is soap on. This is gonna light up the whole area down here, and you'll be able to see this from quite a distance. And it's kind of neat for customers to see this, or people that's walking by on the sidewalk as you're washing. It definitely draws some attention. So again, let's go ahead and turn this off. And again, you'll see how long that takes. Stay off the trigger until that fully changes out. Usually it's pretty quick to get the rest of the soap out of the line, and then you're back on the rinse. Now I'm going to show you some tips on how to run this on the last cycle. So you're on maybe you're on the last part of the house, or whatever you're soft washing. Obviously you would be on soap. So again, this is the last part of the job. You're going to come over here, and something I didn't cover when I talked about the soft wash system was we've hidden a rinse valve for the FlowPro right down in here. So let's talk about this a little bit. So you're still soap, we're still on the mix here. What you want to do is come over here and turn this to water. Okay, get the water sticker right there so you can easily tell what adjustment you're on. What this little valve does, let me get a little bit closer here so you can see. What this valve does is the injector is still on, but instead of pulling bleach, you're switching it over to water, and you're pulling water all the way in through your in through your lines. You're cleaning out all the bleach that would be normally sitting in the lines, and then all the way down through the injector. So again, this is going to be the last part. So basically you're going to a rinse cycle with the bleach still on, if that makes sense. Because remember, the injector is still pulling, but instead of pulling bleach in through there, you've turned that valve, and that injector is now going to pull water to completely rinse that out. Super, super important. You'll go through injectors. Some will last a month or two, some will last a year. You never can tell. But when you add something like this into the system, it's definitely going to prolong the life. Again, bleach is a corrosive, and when you mix bleach and brass, it will make that injector fail. This is just going to give you a little bit more life, make it last a little bit longer. This is what we recommend when you're not using it. So you've completely rinsed out the injector. Come on over here. Even if you wanted to turn this off with it still be on that last cycle, hit that switch. The cool thing about the FlowPro is even if you forget to switch it back to water, when we turn this back on, it's automatically going to switch to the rinse cycle. So let me show you. Again, we turned this off with it being on the mix cycle. Let's turn this back on. That is automatically switching, and it's automatically going back to the rinse. So it's a nice little fail safe. All right, let's go back over here one more time and just add a few more things on this valve. So after you've turned that all off, put this in the middle. That's gonna restrict any flow from either way. When you're downstreaming, this valve is gonna be turned this way. On your last run, this valve's gonna be pointed that way to pull water out of the water tank. And one more time, the middle is off. That's where we prefer to keep that. So you back up there, that little rinse valve is hidden right beside the soft wash rinse valve in there. So you have all your rinse valves together. You have your whole control center all together as well. Again, that is the FlowPro downstreaming system. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below in the video here. You can also reach out to FlowPro Solutions. Judd West is the inventor of this great system. We've had, well, I think we've bought hundreds of these now from Judd, and they just work. Really nice systems.